Comes on like a. Sorry. Good afternoon. Oh my goodness, it's good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night in case I don't see you. Hashtag shout out to Jim Carrey and The Truman Show whenever he would meet people on the street. Good morning. And then he'd say, in case I don't see you, good afternoon, good evening, and good night. And something I like about that. So, welcome, folks, to the stream. We're streaming. Oh, heavens. Oh, heavens to Betsy, what have I done? It's 8:32 a.m. I'm on holiday. Vacation week. This week it's Tuesday, and I'm up to my week-long vacances photo, it's called. Vacation photo vacation with Mr. Serge Froment, who's our mentor. And let's just jump right into it then. Oops, gonna get out of studio mode. We're gonna fade over here. Yeah. Hey folks, shout out to Photographie Tout Azimut. It's very French. I'm bilingual, that's nice. So do these courses, and anyway, he speaks a reasonable amount of English too, but it would be tough if you didn't really understand any French to take these courses. But hey, wherever you're at, find a mentor, find a teacher, find a mentor who's offering classes, coaching, guidance, mentorship around photography, if that's something that you're interested in. And when I arrived in Montreal 14 years ago, soon after I found him on Google somewhere and took a few courses in composition at the beginning. And that sort of solidified some bases, some foundations for me, and then continued to do other technical things with him. And now I'm up to this program that he offers, which is Vacances Photo. So it's all summer. and it's in 1 week chunks. So you sign up for 1 week, $545, and he organizes really an itinerary, 5 different days, 5 styles, completely different of photography, and there's a particular schedule. So yesterday we were out shooting from 2 to 5, and there was a theoretical section in the morning from 9:30 to 11:30 around exposition and the perfect exposure. And it's a nice course that he's built up that brings in knowledge from the days of Ansel Adams and the zone system in black and white, where you would expose for certain shadow regions, and then the highlights would fall where they would, and then you would develop the film in a particular way to either expand or contract that contrast level to bring back detail in the highlights, and the whole thing of how you develop and how you print. And Ansel Adams was, of course, a master of that. But these days, now it's digital. Now, I mean, lots of people nostalgic and people believe in the quality and want to maintain that stuff are doing analog photography still, which is cool. I support that fully. I don't do it myself. Anyway, I've done it in the past. I did black and white, did darkroom. My mother was a portrait photographer for many years and had a studio in our little kitchen nook and a darkroom in the basement, and would develop her photos and negatives and stuff in the basement and print photos. And she had a lab nearby the house where she would work with them, and they would do beautiful stuff. So that's, yeah, anyway, nice memories there. And I still have boxes and boxes of old family black and whites that family members took, that I took, and I've scanned in a few of them, but not that many. It's a big load. It's a big heaviness. But maybe we'll look at that another time. So yeah, so yesterday from 9:30 to 11:30 was the Exposition Parfaite. Yesterday from 2 to 5 we did part of our uh, sortie, part of our adventure in the gay village here, the village gay in Montreal, le village, I think they just call it now, and it was an interesting experience. Yeah, there's nice little corners, but we'll get into that a bit later. I'll tell you all about the sortie, but I'm telling you right now about what I'm up to this week. So these are the locations that we'll be visiting. Yeah, learn creativity with practice. 6 other people in a group, and you find your place, and you got this program. So we were in the village, and originality, colorful character, unique and vibrant community. And today we'll go to Habitat 67, and then we'll go inside the Metro Carré. So that's we're going to do square aspect ratio pictures inside the Montreal Metro subway system at 3 different stations, such as this one, right? This is a square photo where you put the sort of leading lines toward the center of the photo. Apparently, like rules of composition are a bit different when you're in a square aspect ratio versus the typical either vertical, 4/3 vertical or horizontal aspect ratio. So that'll be fun. And there's always a nature day, so we'll go to the Parc Nature in Ile Bizarre. It's a small island, part of the city of Montreal, but it's a small island just off of the island of Montreal. Montreal is an island, yes, indeed. And so that's what I'm up to. If we go again, yeah, here you can see a few photos here. So we were in this area here in the village around St. Catherine. So there was lots of nice little behind the scenes, little ruelle, all sorts of things, all sorts of interesting stuff. So I'll show you my photos from there. And then today we'll go to Habitat 67, the beautiful building from the Expo 67 designed by Moshe Safdie. And there's a nice photo of folks surfing on the couple of standing waves that are off on the back in the river. So, yeah, that's what we're up to for today's stream. Let's bring in Logseek and I'll just show you what I'm up to. We're on the 15th. We're going to brainstorm. We're going to introduce this. This is done. Now we're going to go to Lightroom. So welcome to Lightroom, folks. Here's my catalog. Let's close the sidebars, zoom in a bit, close the film strip. Here we are at the start of our, if I have this on the side, then you can see some metadata. Yeah. This is strange that it's taking so long. I'm just trying to import another photo, but it's just not working. Sorry for that. One moment. Bit of technical oh dear, now Lightroom is like not responding. Isn't that brilliant? Let's go back to the screen. So here are my thoughts. What we're gonna cover today is I'll give you a little tour of the photography adventure I was on. And yeah, and then I was on a few other adventures. I like to call them adventures. Just go out for a walk and take pictures of the urbanism, of different stuff. And got some photos and videos. I'd like to do those and record those into short rants, short urban rants for my other production, which is ndg360.com, which doesn't have much right now. There is a YouTube channel, a few videos, a few shorts here and there, sort of spontaneously just post stuff there from time to time when I feel like it. So we might add a few little episodes there. But let's jump back to Lightroom. So welcome to the tour, folks, for my vacances photo, a walk around near Station Métro Baudry. Here's the metro station Baudry. And part of the challenge was I was working technically with this new sort of zone system whereby you identify the brightest portion of the image, which is sort of in the clouds here, and you set your exposure, boom, to maximize. This is the histogram over here, so that you're as close to the edge as you can get without getting blown out. So typically you take the brightest zone and you expose it at like +2 stops relative to neutral gray, and then you can bring up the shadows and stuff in here as needed. So we're walking around, and this was a nice pattern on the ground. And I guess I've been finding I don't know, my tastes or my interests or where my eye goes to has sort of been changing recently, and I'm less desirous of like bringing a shitload of gear with me on these sort of adventures also. Almost, well, I sort of gave myself the challenge to like just bring my cell phone, but then I couldn't bring myself to do that, so I brought like my small Fuji app and my big camera, and I should bring those on into the studio, and I could actually show you, but that's maybe for later. So yeah, here I was walking around with my little rangefinder, a little tiny rangefinder with not a through the lens, just look on the side and a little window coming out the side. But it's got an electronic viewfinder also that shows you a through the lens view, so that's super fun. But this was on the asphalt, on the ground, just nice flowing sort of, you know, patterns, even though there's a bit too much here in the foreground. But just reminds me of like again, I could make this a procedurally textured thing. I could make this into like an AR experience where you would point your phone at this pavement and then look in the phone, and then the shapes would start to wobble and move and bubble and build and all this stuff. And I feel like that would be just super cool. Just going to check the stream health. Excellent condition. Yay, we're streaming on YouTube. Isn't this fun? So this was one of my picks. And we need to, so again, the process here is that we shoot, like yesterday we were shooting from 2 to 5. And then today, the next day, we need to send him our top 15 photos by 10 a.m. so that he can work on them. He can bring them together with everyone's photos, rank them, comment on them, technically, artistically, composition, all this stuff, and works on them a little bit in Lightroom also to see what else you could do in post-processing. And then in the evening, we'll have a Zoom where we talk about the photos from the previous day. And it's a brilliant and magical experience to see what other people saw at the same place at the same time. And it's always completely different what people saw. You're always surprised. Wow, I didn't see that. Where was that? How did you? Cool. Like, oh, neat. So, oh, I saw that. I couldn't make it work. Oh, you really found the good angle. So it's fun to see what other people get up to and create when you're in the same place together. There was some, yeah, graffiti on the walls. So reminds me of one of the classes that I took with with Serge, which was around, yeah, graffiti. So you really like the challenge in the graffiti is to kind of zoom in on sections and kind of isolate, like abstract, make it into like an abstract artwork. So there was something about this sort of line coming in and these shapes, but yeah, doesn't quite work. This was kind of a cute little character. Didn't quite work either. There's the character here with a little thing that says O's. O's means like dare, kind of like dream, go big, oze, like to dare to do something kind of thing, I guess would be my rough translation. But there's a lot of elements there, so it's hard to you look my eyes looking up here, looking down here, looking here. It's not sort of like linked compositionally, but that's okay. I felt like I was just coming out of the cold. It's been a while since I really just did street photos like this, just going on an adventure in an area with specifically wanting to create photos. And usually I'm looking at urbanism and stuff. So different seasons of my life, and it's fun to be back here. So it's a nice building with the clouds in the background. Just boom, 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 boom. Pleasant. There was a nice park nearby, so if I go slash, no, what did I do? This slash, no. How do I view the before? Dot? No. Anyway, there's I want to be in develop mode. That's it. So then if you press slash, no. That's the before view. And then I turned it into black and white and played with the color balance a little bit. This is just like I find it garish almost. The colors is like an assault of green. So I like to do that and just convert it to black and white. It was nice forms here, nice shapes, and little vegetation was poking out, so that was fun to explore. A little fountain, I don't know, just some little raindrops on the sides, kind of just gentle, kind of zen. This was nice. It's always nice to have a pair of flowers if you want to. One flower on its own, a bit boring. You want to look around, you want to see their friends. So, this one's in the back, a little bit soft focus, a little bit out of focus here. And this one's just nice. This is kind of fun. You can just browse around the shapes, and we might make it black and white even. Oh, weird. I would expect this to be brighter, but let's undo that. Yeah. Hmm. It's nice. Here's that same wall that I showed you in black and white earlier, sort of just framed it up with a bit of background and then just nice shapes you can kind of see through. You can look at the wall, you can look behind, you can look at these shapes, kind of just trying to find a composition where your eye can sort of just browse around. That's the idea. This reminded me of a sort of a Zen koan or something. It's just sort of repeating patterns and like the I Ching where you drop like 64 sticks and then they would have different shapes and you would read like some sort of your future in there. But yeah, otherwise maybe a bit boring. Sorry, talking about things being boring. Two gentlemen here on the wall. It was a nice little ruelle, little green lanes where we went and where we chilled out, and we're just, yeah, looking at photos, looking at folks. A lot of nice little doors. This is not quite a good composition, though. That's too much noise in the top. and the bottom kind of thing. I don't know. I don't know if it's salvageable. Maybe we just cropped in. It's a bit of just dead space at the bottom, which is okay. You can have dead space sometimes. I like the blue on the edges though. I want to keep the blue edges and sort of balance the top and bottom a little bit. Is it too tight? It feels weirdly like off. I'm going to make this vertical here. Did that kind of fix it? I don't know. Just a weird perspective. Eh, anyways, it's kind of nice. Those are some of the doors we were seeing around the neighborhood. Then there was this sort of like green lanes, and the sun was shining, and the shadows, and it was just a lovely kind of time. But again, this photo is a bit boring, but a bit zen, and this is something that I'd like to. I mean, my vision for this type of thing would be to create this as a VR experience where you could just sit, be looking at this wall. I don't care about like seeing the VR all around, but just creating a peaceful little VR environment like this. Whoops, I've gone on to. I'm going to open my log seek window and make a log here. What I'd love to do with this type of photo is like create a VR experience where you'd be sitting on a bench across from this lovely garden and this wall, and you'd have the sun coming, and the leaves would be fluttering, and you'd have a soundtrack, and just like a peaceful, meditative, immersive experience with these types of little nice environments, little urban lanes, and other things. So I'd love to get up to creating some kind of VR experience based on this photo. So shoot me up in the comments if you'd like to join the michaeljohnson.tv production studio and create something like this. Oh my God, I just said that. Isn't that crazy cool? Yeah. So this was kind of nice. And yeah, there was like I don't know what this wall is in the back here. I could show you where we were on Google Maps. I should do that. Let's do that. Down here, the village. Yeah, we started here at Maître Baudry. We walked along St. Catherine, St. Catherine, St. Catherine, over to here, Alexandre de Sèvres, came back here, walked along this little lane here. We can probably zoom in here. Saint Rose. It was a little green lane. Yeah. And I think I took pictures looking this way. We zoom out. Where does that look to? There's a sort of a wall here. I wonder where that wall, it must be here. Yeah. So these are like the main street. This is St. Catherine, right? And we came down here. We went through this little green lane here. Doo-doo-doo. And then there's another green lane. It continues through here. Yeah, if I put Google Maps right here, we can see that. See this lovely little lane that comes through. And then you can cross the streets and you can continue on in here. So that's the wall that I just showed you with the sort of Zen, this one. This wall comes from this spot here. So just a nice place to walk. We walk through this lane and come out the other side over to here, I think. That's the old CBC building there. I think yeah, there was a wall here. That's where I took the next photo here. This gentleman walking down the street and with this nice brick and leaves. But it's a bit garish, again, the colors, so I might bring it to black and white and sort of like actually try to pop him out using some contrast or some brush or something. You can do some masking in Lightroom now. We can say choose the subject. It's going to use AI to select the subject. Let's see how good it does. Refining, there it is. Boom. And then we can sort of add a bit of, I don't know, highlights or something onto him. Bit of, what else do we want? Some detail, some clarity, sort of pop him out a little bit. Something like that. Like the black and white sometimes. Yeah. And this is Saint Pierre Apôtre. Lovely church. I've attended concerts in there. I've sung in there in that church. A lovely church nearby there, Saint Pierre Apôtre. And again, this idea of like with vegetation of having two siblings nearby, so your eye can sort of look and compare and get into the nice details. And again, this is sort of something that I'd be. Of course, there's probably a bunch of tutorials in Blender on like how to make flowers using geometry nodes, but that's cool. I don't know. I don't need to do that myself, but it's something I'm sort of curious about. So this was lovely. I love finding geometries and textures. It's a bit out of focus here on the front, but the edge of it is in focus, and I just love to. So I just want to take this and do like an edge detection algorithm on it, just to boom, 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 get all these little things here. And I wonder if we can make that. I'm going to just make a copy, virtual copy. This is copy one. We're going to make it black and white. And then we're going to take the green. So I can play with black and white. I show you here. Let's turn off the histogram so we got a bit more space above me. This is the black and white mix. So if I play with green, of course there was a lot of green in the photo, right? I can just like turn down the green. And then if you click this one, what I can do is click on the image and then adjust up or down the value of that color mix. So I turned up the yellow all the way, turned down the green. Oh, see, it's green yellow kind of mix there also. So just trying to maximize a little bit the contrast and sort of bring out these details. And this is something that would be super fun to do again in Blender or some sort of generative geometry, generative procedural graphics that you would like make the rough outlines of this branch. There's a main branch, there's branching off, boom, 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 the branches. Then from this branch, there's another branch, but they connect together and they've got a little sort of a main network and then another network and then another network. And it's fractal sort of, geometry at different scales. So that's what I like to do there. Oh yeah, there were a few mannequins in some windows. It was a wig shop maybe, and I just love taking portraits of these mannequins through the window. It's quite. They're like they are characters. They are personnages. They are characters, and love to take their portrait. So again, it's just like taking a portrait of someone. You can move around their face. You can go up or down. You want to have compose. So I specifically wanted the sort of, focal element to be really in their eyes here, and sort of have their hair around the side, framing it up with a bit of their face, sort of the curves. You can follow the curve and then you come back. So again, the idea and the composition is sort of keeping your eye inside the photo, exploring the details of the face, the highlights, the shadows. You can see there's a nice like nose shadow there, a bit hard shadow, softer shadow here, lining up the face, and then the neck, and then the hair, and then the eyes, and then there's some detail here with the shadow of the hair. It's like that's from like the hard light. I mean, the sun is coming in directly from up here, right through the window. So I really enjoyed playing around with this. And then again, there's sort of an echo, having two things, having a pair of things to keep your attention in the image. If it was all alone, it'd be a bit boring. There's no eyes, there's no face really that much, eyes to look at. So having these two close together, spread out in the image appropriately, then it keeps you in the image. Yeah? And you can, oh, there's echo here, and I'm looking back and forth between these elements, and my eyes staying in the photo. So this was a zoom in of a painting. Again, taking this man as a portrait. As a portrait. So, I've cut off his head, and this is hashtag Peter Hurley and the headshots. And I used to do lots of headshots. I did paid headshots back in those days. And mbjohnsonphoto.com, you can see a shit ton of headshots, all often in the same style. Cut off here, just a bit of hair, but focusing on the expression. So there was something just awesome about this guy's expression that I loved. This was a little sculpture next to a home that was kind of a Portuguese home here. And just down the way, down this lane down here, next to the fence, was this little guy. It was kind of cute. I felt like 3D scanning him, but I didn't. Maybe next time. I can always go back. Can always go back to these locations. But again, sometimes it's like you're scanning your photos, you're just like trying to suck up, trying to like extract value from like a location. I mean, that's not really a fun or nice kind of feeling, right? You want to be immersed in the location, get to know it, have an experience of it. But it was a tough location because just across the lane from here, there was quite a few people in sort of destitute and desperate situations. Shooting up drugs, smoking crack right in broad daylight in these parks in the lanes and stuff. So it was a really a contrast, and yeah, quite desperate situations. So my commitment there is to make a donation to a group in Montreal that's making a difference there, and that's probably like Itinéraire or some other sort of substance abuse kind of um, crew. Let me write that down. Donate to someone who's helping in this area. Yeah, okay, that was the little house. Is that it? No. And not sure about the development here. It looks to be underexposed a little bit. Yeah, it's quite underexposed. So we'll just play a little bit. We want to make the whites kind of white without blowing it out. We're looking at the highlights here, and then we'll bring down the highlights to get a bit more texture in the wall. We're trying to extract texture from the wall really by reducing the highlights and stretching the whites a little bit. And you can see the, whoops, before, before, after. A bit more vibrant. Yeah, so that's little tweaks that we do in post-processing in Lightroom. Yeah, this one was neat. I love the structure and the sort of like those little green patches. Kind of annoying. Like it's just, oh, Ella. Hey, Ella. Good morning. Either side of the main. I'm not sure which photo you're asking about. Maybe. Oh yeah. I don't know. This was just like little. That's to cover the mailbox, and that's to cover the number, I think. Yeah. Wonder if I can find this house on Google Maps. Let's try to find it on Google Maps for a moment. So we walked up this street, then we came a bit further on Panay, and then no, Visitation. Oh man, I'm lost here. There's a park here. No, playground. De la Fontaine. Yeah, we were in this arena, and then we ended up here. There was another little lane here, and there was another road called Rabin. Rabin. Yeah, I don't know. I wouldn't be able to find it again. Wave, hello. Yeah, a little sort of Portuguese house in a little green lane just off of, yeah, it was off of Maisonneuve actually. So we went up here, Maisonneuve, and there's a tiny lane. Where was that tiny lane? Here. No, La Brec? No. No, no, no. This is not Maisonneuve. This is Ontario. Robin, Maisonneuve. La Trique. Here we go. La Trique. There we go. There's the house. Yeah, there's the little man. Oh, see, Google even conveniently blurred his face for us. How generous, Google. Yeah, just a little nice little green lane here. That's where the other photo was taken. This little um, thing here, zooming in here, the nice structure. And then this was the little gentleman standing guard. And yeah, here's the little sort of house straight out of Portugal. And I think it was for sale. Yeah, there was a for sale sign here. So anyone looking for a nice Portuguese style little stone house on a nice little green lane, check it out. 1600 Avenue Lartigue in Montreal. But yeah, I mean, there was a small park here, a little parklet, and yeah, a few folks sitting in the back smoking some kind of substance that was not marijuana, most likely crack. So it was a bit of a interesting experience to be, yeah, in that environment that is not my day to day. So we wish those people well for the struggles of life. And like I said, I'm committed to make some donation to an org that is making a difference in that community of Hochelaga, Maisonneuve. So let's keep on the tour. Yeah, we were going to make this one black and white maybe and play a little bit with, I don't know, drop the blacks a bit, get a bit more contrast in here. Maybe the whites can have a bit more. Drop the highlights, get a little bit of contrast, a little bit of shape there. It's kind of nice. I like just the little things like a frame around the frame. Yeah, it's definitely tough. COVID, just like there was boom, there was just a rise, just a boom in like the number of destitute people on the street. I mean, what a fucking failure of society. Like, anyway, urban rant, political rant, getting for a bit later on the stream, maybe, as we dive into. I'll go later on an adventure around the urban freeways and highways that we've spent billions and billions and billions of dollars. Meanwhile, right? People are dying. People can't house themselves. People are suffering in the streets. Like, it's really crazy society, I find. Our metrics are all fucked up. But anyway, let's get back to the beauty. Back to the beauty here. Yeah, I like the framing here. Then this lady and her son were here tending to this lovely garden right on the corner. I think I've got a shot of the corner. No, I don't have a shot of the corner house. I deleted a bunch of photos because we're just like, oh, yeah, got to reject at some point, reject photos. But sometimes I went a bit too far. So lovely lady here and her lovely garden here right on the street corner. It was quite fun. And this was the Le Milieu Atelier Café de Quartier. It's a little sort of knitting shop, cafe, little community center. Just lovely. There's another lady from our crew here, from the group. So we're all this group of six with a mentor sort of, you know, marauding around the streets. And sometimes I get sort of a bit nervous. I'm like, oh, we look weird. We look strange. Yeah, it's okay. We're tourists in our own area. So, yeah. Thanks for being here, Ella. The Knitting Cafe. Yeah, used stuff, used books, just like a cafe of the neighborhood with some little shoes maybe for donation. Just charming buildings and in the old, really the old Montreal style. Workers' housing in that area. Videos not supported. Oh yeah, I did a video here. We're gonna the desktop audio's turned down, so I was trying to import one from my phone here. Maybe we'll try it again if we can do that. just permit me for one moment to do a little import maneuver on Lightroom. Going to try to grab this one. I pray that it works. Otherwise, like Lightroom's going to kind of freeze. It's a nice slow-mo video. I love to take these slow-mo videos. It's not going to work again. So let's just cancel that. Ah, arg. Marauding around on Lightroom here. How do we get back to where we were? Grid? No. There's a back button somewhere in Lightroom, right? Anyway, here we are. Back to here. Yeah, now we're at this little water park. And I was taking some slow-mo videos of these little water droplets in the water shape. And what I love to look at is this, right? The water comes out here as a sort of a thin sheet of water is sort of being formed through two surfaces. Boom, a thin umbrella like sheet of water is coming out. And then there's like instabilities that come up in the water. And I've shown like high speed water photos earlier, and I may show some later, and I might try to get this one back. So you can kind of see the texture here as those droplets, as that sheet breaks up into rivulets and then shatters into droplets. It's super fun. So a little boy on a bicycle came by and hit the button here, and boom, and then the water started. So we all had fun, and I got up close to this fountain, and then suddenly there was a fountain right in my crotch that came up and started spraying water. So I jumped out of the way rapidly, but I managed to catch this one just as it was sort of coming down. Ooh. So you could sort of make a GIF or something, make a loop, go whoop, 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 have some music along with that. I'm hearing a weird soundtrack that's like scratchy, but you're not hearing that, so that's good. My desktop audio is turned down. Yeah, boom, as the water poof and comes down to nothing. So I'll try to get the other one in here. Come on, Lightroom. Here's another video. This was again also a slow-mo video. I love to see those textures and these rivulets and just the shapes and the textures that are coming all around. This is something I'll play with maybe in Touch Designer a little bit later, maybe. And what else have we got? This is just a still photo that I took, so we can remove this and get a bit nicer. Yeah, just boom, the jet's coming out and they sort of oscillate around and around, and yeah, I just love that. Here's a video of that. Again, it's slow-mo, but Lightroom doesn't show it well because I haven't processed it. Yeah. Slow-mo, I'll show you another time, but you get the idea of the nice textures and then the stuff running down the ground. Super fun. And that's it, folks. So what I want to do actually is just Control A, and I want everything that's not a video. So just original photos. No videos here. What I want to experiment with is making a contact sheet in Lightroom to have a sort of a summary of this. So how we're going to do that, and just take a log of that, making contact sheet. Strange that my sorry, just a little technical issue here that my Stream Deck is not connected to my thing, and I don't know why I can't do my Stream Deck. I love to have my Stream Deck. I had my iPad with like my Stream Deck and stuff, and it was like super awesome, and it's not working right now. That's okay. Don't really need that. It's all good. So let's make a contact sheet here. And I know that I've got, how many photos do I have? 30 photos. So I want to make a grid of like 6 by 5, something like that, 6 by 5, but I want it maybe rotated. There's got to be like a nicer way to do this. It's just annoying. Make it a bit wider, a bit narrower. Oopsie, something like that. Has that got all the photos? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 by 6. We can have borders around them of a certain width. Does it eat into the photo? No, it doesn't. I just want to remove the space here, so I need to make this a bit smaller in the vertical direction. 12.5 maybe. Okay, how about 12? Okay, that's getting 11. Pushing my luck. 11.2. That's nice. Okay. Now we want to print this to file. This is the annoying thing with Lightroom. I'm really annoyed. I wish there was a way in Lightroom to simply, well, capture this screenshot and add it into the collection automatically. Print to file and import into collection. There should be a Lightroom preset that does that, but there isn't, so that's okay. I don't really want it for Lightroom today. I'm just going to take a screenshot and add this to my logseek log from my Aventure photo from yesterday. Vacances photo. Let's just add that. There we go. So, folks, that was the tour of the photo expedition, vacances, adventure. And so, we're going to call that done for Lightroom. And now we're going to go explore the program here. So, Habitat 67. This is a cool space, like super cool space. It was made in 1967 for the World's Fair, the Expo 67 in Montreal, by the Montreal. Was he born in Montreal? He studied in Montreal anyway at McGill. Moshe Safdie, he's the architect of this, and it was a kind of a proposal for this habitat, and it's like the idea is like it's modular, so you can like create these modules in the factory and then bring them to on site and just like assemble them into this sort of like spider's web, hornet's nest kind of thing, and it's really cool. So I'm going to show you on, oh, here we are already on Google. So let's zoom out. Again, we're going to have a little tour of Montreal here. And this is the island of Montreal. This is the Ile Bizarre, where we're going to go later in the week, around Friday or so. We're going to go to this park here. There's a parc nature and a little walkway that goes over the swamp. So we're going to be walking around the swamp all night. I mean, not night, from 5 to 8 or so in the evening. So it should be super fun, that one. But we're getting ahead of ourselves. Today at 2 o'clock, I need to rendezvous down here at Habitat 67. So zoom out a little bit. This is Montreal. Downtown's kind of here. This is Mount Royal. We were sort of in this area over here yesterday, and these islands are actually like human constructed islands. Crazy. Like, I don't think you could do this these days with environmental regulations and stuff like this, which is a good thing. I don't know, messing up the ecosystem of the St. Lawrence River. But they constructed these islands using the detritus from tunneling of the metro system, the underground subway system, and possibly some of the trench highways that run through my neighborhood. But they built up these islands, and they had the expo. The expo grounds were here, and now it's used for like picnic électronique, and like Oshiaga is a big like rock festival. They got this big plaza here. They got shows, concerts, some nice green space also. And over here is La Ronde. It's this sort of amusement park, Six Flags amusement park. And what I find sad is just like the wasted space for like the giant parking structures. Like, build a parking structure somewhere else and people can take the metro to come to La Ronde. Please, for God's sake. Make this stuff green again, please, please. But anyway, that's a bit of a rant. And over here on this other island, they got this long thing here where they do the rowing, the kayaking, swimming, triathlons, all this kind of stuff. It's like, I don't know how long that is, a kilometer maybe. And next to it is the Circuit Gilles Villeneuve. Here's the hairpin turn. This is where they have the Formula One race. And it's fun to go biking on this one. I used to do that often, sprinting and time trialing and all that stuff. So where we're going to be is over here at Habitat 67. This spit of land here was also built up artificially, and this is of course the port of Montreal, the old port of Montreal, which is still a port, and there's actually active stuff here. But what we're going to explore is this Habitat 67. So let's just have a little fun here exploring it in Google. You can see the sort of modularity of it, these sort of blocks of buildings that are just assembled together and with sort of common space. There's a kind of an elevator, stairs that go down, and underneath there's like shopping. There's the problem is it's not very accessible. Like there's not good bus service. It's far from the metro, so and there's another building, a neat building here, which is Tropique Nord. It's really a greenhouse, actually. And inside is just greenery. And you can look up on Centris or MLS if you want to have a tour of any units for sale here. It's quite fun. Like people's balconies are kind of inside this greenhouse, which is just lush, like tropical vegetation. It's pretty cool. So here is the standing waves of the river, and folks go down here and they surf in the river. So let me zoom around here. If you park over here, you climb down here, get in your surfboard, paddle out here, let yourself be taken away in the current, and then paddle like mad, and then catch the wave, and then you just stay in place and you gently kind of surf. So you can see that in one of the photos that our mentor took here. There's a couple of surfers in the river. Habitat 67, standing wave. So I'm always freaked out by like, what if you're way the frick out there and then you fall? And whoops, then you gotta paddle like mad to get back. You don't have much room, right? If you're too far out and you can't get back, well, you're gonna keep go, you're gonna keep going, and whoopsie, missed the tip, and then off I go. I'm in the river. Anyway, that was what thoughts that crossed my mind when I actually went in the river on a kayak, but that's a topic for another day. So we're exploring this Habitat 67. Yeah, it's really the sort of modules, and it's quite an interesting architectural space. So we'll be going on a tour of it. There's organized tours with Heritage Montreal. You can go and they'll take you through one of the restored original modules here that's now sort of part of the architect's legacy heritage. I think he's donated it to McGill University or something like that. So it's pretty fun spot. So I'll have more to share a bit later tomorrow. Tune in tomorrow at 8:32 a.m. or maybe 8:12. I'm not sure. I didn't quite have my business together this morning, but now I'm on a roll, so I'll try to target 8:12 tomorrow. It's nice to do it early, and be super happy to see you if you care to come by. So that's done. I think it's time for a small break, folks, and then we're going to launch into the urban rants. So, yes, Ella, it's still a place of residence. People live here. Yeah, yeah, yeah. People live here. Yeah, indeed. It must be annoying sometimes, actually, to be like a resident here. It's probably all these tours. Everyone's coming by, looking at your plate, taking pictures of your door. It's like I'm gonna feel a bit strange, but like that's okay. Like they know that this is a historical building, that you know what you're getting yourself into when you move here. So let's just check Centris. Centris.ca, residential properties for sale. Let's see if there's something in Habitat 67. Usually it's like a news item, like, oh, this vedette, this star is selling their place. No results found. Really? Dupuis? Avenue Pierre Dupuis. Maybe this is one. This is one. Cité du Havre. I think this is one of the modules, actually. Let's just go through. They've been restored. They've been yeah. You see, you got the view here. This is a unit that's on the main floor. You can see the view across to the old port. You see downtown Montreal here. Um, I'm pretty sure this is a Habitat 67. So you'd have a kind of a module at the bottom, and stairs would go up here to another module. Yeah, with the solarium. Yeah, exactly. This is one of the units. One of the units for sale. Only 1,095,000. How many bedrooms? 6 rooms, 2 bedrooms, 1 bathroom. Yeah, located on a fleuve. Navigable body of water. Okay, yeah, you're selling it a bit hard there, bro. Nobody's going to go navigate in that body of water. Although, if we go back to Google Maps, right, that's probably one of these units that's like on the main floor here. Sort of here, you'd have a bit of a solarium, and then you'd be looking across. This would be your view. You'd have a view of Montreal, downtown Montreal, which is lovely. Nice view from there. This is the old silo. I've played around there. There's a spa. So you wouldn't really be navigating a boat from Habitat 67. Maybe not really. This is more really industrial thing here. So let's see what else there is. If we go to back to search, let's just show me a map. Show me a map. Map. There we go. Let's see what we got. Oh my God. I didn't want that. Let's zoom in, zoom in, zoom in. Montreal. Oh, there's one here. Oh, there's 10 here. Wow. Okay. Tropique du Nord. We can see the Tropique du Nord here also. Here we go. Condo for sale. Tropique du Nord. You can see the picture here. Yeah, let's zoom in. So in this Tropique du Nord building, right next to Habitat 67, I was showing you with that kind of solarium here. This is one giant like greenhouse, and this is your essentially. There's a mirror there, so that's why it looks kind of large. But this is your balcony. It's not really outside; it's in the greenhouse of this thing. It's pretty interesting concept. There's a video there. Anyway, we won't go into that. Yeah, there's your living room, essentially, slash balcony. It just looks out on on the on the greenhouse. It's pretty neat. Yeah, and you look down from your balcony, you just see like bamboos and no, not bamboos, palm trees, all sorts of stuff. That's not really what we're looking for. We want to go back to the map. Habitat 67. 10 buildings for sale here. Wow. Let's see. 1,350,000. Yeah, that's Habitat 67. Often what people have done is sort of like gotten 3 or 4 or 5 modules together and like made it into one giant condo. So I think normally the vision was for them to be smaller units. I mean, it was Habitat for Humanity kind of style. I mean, really nice. So, but I think it's become a luxury place now, sadly. Anyways, we don't need to. Yeah, there's your little sunroom. That's a module that would extend out. You'd have a sunroom there and a nice view. Yeah, you can see the other modules. So that's Habitat 67, and we'll have more to share from that in a little while. Now, I think I'm going to take a small break and then come back and share some of these crazy adventures that I've been on. And what I'll do is bring you back to my LogSeq window. This is how I manage all my stuff. Call it a second brain, call it whatever you like. I've got a page for today's stream, and it's a stream, and it's today's date, and here's the link. So this is in my notes app. It's sort of organized. I can just click here, send this link to anyone. Here's the brainstorm that I made for what I wanted to talk about today. Introduce Vacances Photo, go through my Lightroom stuff, talk about Habitat 67, maybe do an energy sketch, but I'm not really feeling it today. So I think I'm going to jump over to the Urban Rants section that I've been meaning to do, or I might do the smoke screen, the smokestack. Yeah, Anyway, one of two things might happen 5 minutes or so from now after I just take a break and maybe get a coffee. I might share some of this adventure. So I like to go. Here's a Google Earth view of an area near the hospital. Here's a mega hospital, Montreal University Health Center Research Institute. Giant mega hospital that they built, and they rebuilt all of these highways. I mean, look, speaking of like, people being in distressing situations and you know, human distress and people not being housed and not getting sufficient care. I mean, this is really, for me, we're spending shit tons of money on giant transport infrastructure exclusively for motorized vehicles that cuts through neighborhoods, typically, neighborhoods that have historically been oppressed against and have been, poor neighborhoods and that have had to swallow the industrial and environmental and other injustices have been perpetrated and continue to be perpetrated on these neighborhoods. But there is like little corners of green here. So this is a giant raised highway, and I started an adventure on a hillside here. Let's go to Google. Let's go to Google. We're going to go to Google. So again, we'll zoom out a bit. This is Montreal. This is the 15 North. These are the giant highways. This is a giant trench highway. If you take a look here, right, it's undercut, giant trench highway with 3 service lanes on each side, and it's just jam, 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 noise, pollution, nothing but noise and pollution here happening, folks. Meanwhile, folks in the neighborhood around it suffer the consequences. So, this is the Turcotte interchange that we just spent billions of dollars essentially rebuilding almost the same way that it was. It's an intersection between kind of 4 different highways, the 15, the 20, the 15, the 10, the thing, it goes downtown, it goes there, it goes there. All of these spaghetti lines just spaghetti, spaghetti, spaghetti. And yeah, they built this mega hospital here that's kind of like an airport. Like it's just so removed from like the people that live nearby and so just unpleasant to try to get to by any mode of transport other than private vehicle. So there's my urban rants are starting up here. So what I like to do is go for a walk and I start at this hill here. There's a hill here. It's just a mound that's been constructed based like from the excavated dirt from like the underground parking lots and shit like that here. They've sort of built up this big hill here. You can see it there. And there's a nice quiet road. You can go up here. You can quietly walk and bike, and people do that. They bike from the Lachine Canal and from other places. But you see, this is this giant like raised highway, and again, 6 lanes going underneath it, and this is the parking structure of the hospital. Anyway, big rant there, but it's nice to just chill out on the top of this hill and you can climb down here and be right next to the highway. It's like people are like cars are coming, zoom, 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 and you're just right next to it, and it's just cool. It's just a cool adventure. So I went on an adventure. I explored and I sort of mused around, like, hey, what if we built just a nice green connection from like the top of this over to the rooftop of the parking structure of the Home Depot? That's look at that, empty. I wonder when the proto was taken, if it was during a weekday or a weekend. And there's also like this nice little green space, actually. There could be a nice green corridor, right? This is the extent of like the cut. We cut through neighborhoods. We disconnect folks here from folks here down like a giant highway, a hill down, but there's like lovely, lovely green space. And I just wonder if this could be actually valorisé, actually used for good purposes that could connect to downtown, connect across. So those are going to be some of my musings and some of my rants that will come up in a little while. So hang tight, folks. Thanks so much for tuning in and back soon. Hey, folks, welcome back. Let's go to Logi Graphics. Welcome back to the stream. I got my coffee. I don't know. I don't do this. Well, I shouldn't say that I don't do the streaming thing. I'm doing the streaming thing. I've been streaming since, I don't know, maybe like almost a year, I guess, since I just said, screw it, going on Twitch. I don't even know what this Twitch thing is, but I'm going to try it. I'm just going to get out there and share my stuff. So it's fun to get out there and share stuff. So I'm happy to be here. And I was concerned about the time there for a moment. That's okay. We do 1 hour chunks. Yeah, those are our time constants. 1 hour, take a break, take your stretch, and then we move on. So here's what we're going to do today. We're going to do this Touch Designer slit scan. I'm going to make a mix of this with slow-mo waterfalls. So mix with footage from slow-mo waterfall frequency analysis. So look at this. Come on. This slit scan. We want to open this one. So how fast can I open this one? Copy the code, Windows R, Control V, paste, enter. Control V means paste, of course. So this is a GIF that I did. Let me just zoom it in. Can I zoom in? Yeah, cool. So um, okay. I want to maybe make this into a tutorial for the Touch Designer community also. So we're going to try that. That means I need to record this segment. So it's cool. We can just record. We don't need to post. We don't need to record. We don't need to do anything. We can edit. So I want to have this. Oops. This, and I want to have something else ready also. So let's have this ready and this ready. Up, 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 File location. I don't have any file location here, do I? Oh my God. What happened here? Okay, well, I've got some footage here. Created a snippet of this one. What I wanted to do here, I've taken slow-mo video of these waterfalls. So let's go into Lightroom and let's play the proper slow-mo video because we have slow-mo video. Let's go to grid. Let's go over to our tools. Let's go to our areas. Here's how I use para in Lightroom. I kind of, keyword slow-mo. Shlomo Minsk. You can see this is a kind of coming back to the earlier water fountain structure breaking up. This is the kind of a similar thing where there's a sheet of water coming from the top that's flowing down and then boom, like it breaks up. There's instabilities in the film of water that cause it to break up through this sort of chaotic pattern and form these rivulets, and then those rivulets sort of atomize into droplets downstream, and you can see it in a bit slow motion. So you can look at these little open areas and how they sort of propagate upwards. The little open areas propagate upwards into the film of water that's descending down. And I find it sort of magical, quite neat. So this is what we're gonna, that was a little, these are all my slow-mo videos that I take of sort of textures and water textures. And I'm looking hey, whoa. I took some recently on an adventure. Did I not classify those? Oh dear. We got to go back to our adventure. No, it was on the 5th. Yeah, these are all slow-mo. Do I want to put all of these in slow-mo though? Yeah, okay. Anyways, what are we looking for? This one. Let's take this one. So here we go. This is a slow-mo video of a waterfall. And what I want to do with this is make it into a kind of an infinite waterfall that just keeps going, 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 going. And I imagine like you could print this texture on like a receipt paper that would be vertical. So There we go. We're going to show this. Um, yeah. Show and I need to link up things a little bit better here. So, and okay. So I tried to record this at some point, but anyways, I didn't record the location. So I'm gonna we've got Touch Designer open. So let's jump into Touch Designer. So let's do this tutorial recording for real this time. And maybe let's remove all this crap here, because this crap is for like measuring the location with and adding circles and compositing stuff in, and oh my God, it's too much. So let's make a new version. Right, essentially what this thing does is takes a video here up to this line. You can see around this line, it's taking footage and it's it's taking footage and then translating it downstream and adding it all together. So this is kind of a record. This stuff on the right is kind of a record of whatever happened at the end, the last row, column of pixels here. So it kind of tracks the shape as it moves up and down, and you could imagine making this long, 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 like as long as that video is long, you could have a still image that would be just the sort of addition of all of that. Yeah, neat. Lots of threads here. So I want to simplify this. So just simply move this stuff out of the way. It's just taking the resolution only. I'm fitting it to a resolution and then using that resolution. So let's just get rid of this stuff for now. Or we could just make it from scratch, because it's simply just a feedback and a transform that translates by 1 pixel in the X. Let's just start new. New. Just quit. Don't need to save. Slow-mo waterfall slit scan. That's going to be the next name of our next project. All right, good. Pardon me, checking the stream health. Touch Designer. And show me in Explorer that particular video. This one. Here's how I roll with making Touch Designer tutorials. Yeah, we're going to make a Touch Designer tutorial using OneNote as a infinite canvas, and I'm going to use my little Wacom tablet. This thing, I love this little Wacom. If you do photo editing, if you work remotely, virtually, if you like to sketch things, I highly recommend them. Fairly reasonable. The wired, small-sized ones are quite nice. So here's OneNote as my infinite canvas. Sketches. Should make a new notebook, perhaps, tutorials, Touch Designer. And slow-mo, waterfall, slit scan. And let's make this maximum. Let's take this. Yeah, and we're going to do it in red. What I want to do is take like a little region. I want to crop. Then I want to select this and I want to have it sort of extend all the way down. And it looks like this slit scan effect. Let's just take a screenshot of that one. Okay, so what I'm gonna do, I don't really, I'm just not feeling like recording a tutorial right now. I just want to create this, just create it. Just create it. So what I need to do is, we're gonna just draw the nodes here. We want to rotate 90. So we can take this again and actually do that. Can I do that? Can I format that shape? One note. One note, one note, one note. Can't even rotate, huh? Rotate. 90-degree left. Hey! And we want to crop. So I'll just take a sub crop here. Delete this. Rotate 90. Crop. It's going to give this. So we're going to have our structures coming from left to right, as I'm going from right to left to illustrate to you left to right. Structures coming left to right, and then we want to extend, right? We want to basically take this movie file in, put it into a feedback, put it into a transform 1 pixel to the right, back into a composite, and composite with the original. So these structures here are going to be kind of repeating as we go down. That's the idea. We keep a record and we sort of a ticker tape, kind of like a ticker tape. Yeah, that's a nice little one. Ticker tape. A ticker tape parade. I love a parade. We don't need that. Let's just do our log seek log of the stream, log the time, starting. Slow-mo waterfall slit scan. Okay, touch designer. So what we need, we've got the movie file in. Let's just start the play. Yeah. Let's get rid of the palette on the left side. And what I want to do is crop. First, crop. Again, I just do crop in a visual way. I want something around, I want to get rid of this log. I want something like here. Not too far down where things are starting to break up, but just around here. So typically we'd crop left, crop right, and currently it's on percent fraction of the frame. So this is a simple way to do it. Crop bottom, crop top, crop top. Let's have a bit on the top. There we go. And I'm going to just play with making this slit scan actually vertical. So we're just going to do that. That's going to be it. There's our base footage. Now we want to fit this into a very tall vertical thing. So we type fit this into some resolution. I'm maxed out at 1280, so it's got to be 1280 tall by like 400. No, 400 is the height. 1280. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, there we go. So I want to have this at the top. How do we fit it? Fit best. Translate, transform. I want to move it up in the Y. How much do we want to move it up? Just until it's visually kind of good. There we go. So what I want to do is extend down by grabbing a frame, grabbing a rectangle, one line of pixels, and moving that down, transforming that down. So the way I do that is I have a rectangle, right? Don't I have a rectangle somewhere that just samples this? So let's have a rectangle top here. Rectangle. Uh, okay, let's just save this now into my assets. Touch Designer 2023-08. It's the date today, 15. Slow-mo waterfall slit scan. I want to open my other one also, the slit scan, because I forgot how to do it. Don't tell anyone. Don't tell anyone. I'll lose my license for Touch Designer. I don't have a license. Cheers. How do I gather up? So here we are back in the slit scanner. How do I gather up the right one in order to composite? Feedback. All right, I take the rectangle and I multiply it. So you just get this little slit here. The idea is you take this little slit and then every frame you move it down so that it adds up progressively. So let's go back to OneNote. Don't need to rotate. Let's not rotate. Crop. Delete that. Okay, so we know to crop. Then we want to fit, so we want to make it small, and we want to fit it inside a long vertical thing. So fit, crop, here, fit, here. Feedback's going to come later. Now we need a rectangle. On the other side, we need a rectangle, which is going to be just a short, thin slice here. That goes in here. We need to multiply. And then that goes into the feedback. But then how does it get composited? Oh yeah, then we bring this back, right? There's a feedback loop that creates the back end of it, and then it gets composited again with the front end of it. Okay, composite. Okay, and then take this again, back again, composite this, composite, select. This comes from here, goes down. Okay, that's good. I think we're good. Go back to slow-mo waterfall slit scan. Just quit. Cool, we're creating stuff. This is what we do on the stream. We create stuff, and I don't know, maybe eventually it might get posted to a alltd.org or a video somewhere. Okay, so we're back. Here's basically what we want to do. Okay, we've sketched it out on OneNote. We want to take a small region of the image, crop it, so we got this. Then we want to fit it into a really long vertical image. Place our base image at the top. And then remember what we're trying to do is capture a little rectangle at the bottom and then propagate that downwards. So it looks like it's kind of scanning downwards. So in order to do that, we create a rectangle, we multiply those two together to give just that image in that short little band. Then we run that through a feedback loop that every frame, it's going to translate downwards by approximately 1 pixel. And there's some levers there between the mix between the speed of the video and the amount of translation that you give it every frame. But basically, we'll create a ticker tape, and then that's going to create the bottom part of it, and then we composite on the top part, so, which is going to be still a video. So it's going to be a slow-mo video at the top that's going to get frozen and then sort of translated down in the same way that this slit scan works. This is a video, and then every frame, the little vertical section gets captured and translated down. So let's jump back into Touch Designer. Here we are. We've got our image, we've got our crop, we've got our fit, and there's probably some parameters that I could have used between the position and the resolution to make this more programmatical, that could be varied. You know, you change the size here, it would vary accordingly. Right now it's all by hand, so that's okay. This is one of the variables that we need to manage. I should probably keep a list of those variables, but we'll do that another time. Now, we need to take this, and we want to multiply these two together. So tab, multiply, connect this here, connect this here, and we got nothing. Right. So what we want to do is, well, I want to see where I'm up to, so I want to make a composite. Just for my own purposes here, we're going to composite these two together for a moment. Oh dear, no, that didn't work at all. Operation add. There we go. So no, it doesn't work at all. And resolution, resolution. I should have a variable for the resolution, the crop, the vertical space, like the aspect ratio. Let's actually write this down in Touch Designer, because here we go. Brainstorm of variables to track. So first is the crop, fit, aspect ratio, rectangle, size and position. And maybe we want to actually just carry variables forward. Resolution. What is the resolution here? Me.resolution. There's some variables you can do with resolution, which I did in the other one, so we're going to go back. I'm going to open another instance of Touch Designer, actually, is what I'm going to do. We're creating stuff, but a bit annoying sometimes with little things here and there. So let's reopen our smokestack and see how we managed the resolution variables there, because I think I did it in a nice way. Over here, this rectangle. Resolution was op fit1.par.resolution. Let's just copy this. Okay, so we can go back here now. Huh? Here, fit one. So we can make this resolution to be this. Just copy this. Resolution W. Resolution H. Yay, we got a resolution here. We got a resolution. Now we want the rectangle to be 1 unit wide and 0.01. I don't know. What is the actual resolution of this thing? Info. 400 by 1280. 400 by 1280. We want it to be at least like, and this is what? 517 by 225. Oh my goodness. 517. Now we've stretched it. Ah, this is 1280 long by 400. It shouldn't be any more than 225. This one. 225. That should fit in. Let's make it wide, longer. And we need to move it up a little bit. Okay. Now this should have gone along with it. So 1280, point 0.1 would be, that's a bit too much. 0.02. And we want the center XY to be, we want this rectangle to be kind of at the top, at the bottom of this, basically. Probably just 0.05 for now. Rotate 0. And let's do pixels. From the center, we want it somewhere here. Why is it sort of bordering? Rectangle, rectangle, rectangle. It looks to be sort of gray on the side. Border alpha, 1. Fill alpha, border color. I want this to be white. Seems okay. I don't know exactly on the details there, but it's all right. Wonder what the other one. Can always make it bigger. There's our multiply. So that's the image that's going to get captured and then translated downstream. So maybe we want to make our rectangle a bit narrower. That looks kind of neat. So it's going to be an interplay there. So anyways, done our multiply. This was just for information purposes. Now we're going to do our feedback loop. So we add a feedback. It's going to be a feedback loop here. Then we add a transform. What we want this transform to do is to move it vertically downwards every time. And we want to composite, composite. Drag this back to the, whoa. Oh no, sorry. Feedback here, transform, composite. Drag that back to the feedback. And then, which one actually composites? This one. And, oh yeah, okay, so we need to move this, translate x, y, -1 pixels. Oops. No, no. Whoa. 1, 10. Then this needs to be add. We want to add them all together. No, it's going in the wrong direction. All right, you can see it's moving upwards. We want it to move downwards, so let's put -1. There, now we're getting somewhere. -2. Typically, what you want to have is also a keyboard in chop, so you can hit 1 on the keyboard to reset the noise. And we'll do that a little bit later. We're going to add another comp, though. So we want to select top. It just takes a top from anywhere in the thing. So I want to take the fit 1 top and bring it over here. Fit 1. And then I want to composite that together with this stuff. So this is the top and this is the bottom. This is the ticker tape. You can see the frequency. Let's add a composite. This one, oops, this one comes in. This one comes in. It should be add. Want a bit more of a black kind of background, I think. So we might need to do some processing here. Let's insert a level. Let's take the black level up a bit, just to kind of get a bit more contrasty. And let's split the panel. I like to split the panel left-right here. And then in the left one, make it a top viewer. Stretch this over. Make it the final one. Let's make our null. Good practice here is to make a null top with the end of our chain. Call it BG for background. Enable viewing. We're going to see it here. We want to see it not here. Display backdrop. And then we can shrink this down. So we always have a view of our final top here. And what's up? Fit 1. I think it's working. I think it's working. I think it's working. Yeah, I think it's working. I think it's working. You can see the frequency. You can play with the speed of the video also. Well, that's my idea of the ticker tape parade. And then we would investigate the kind of frequency of this. Oh, I forgot to add a feedback keyboard in chop. Keyboard in chop defaults to the number 1. So when you hit 1, this keyboard in chop activates. What you want is to drag that over to activate this, drag it over to the pulse of the feedback and say chop reference. So when I hit 1, it clears the feedback. There's our ticker tape. Nice. Cheers to the ticker tape. And let's just record a quick movie out. Let's make this GIF in the same directory. Oh, I didn't make a directory, did I? Okay, those are our visuals, folks. Analyzing the frequency of the waterfall. Cool. Computer's got issues here. Oh boy. Anytime I want to make a new folder in Windows, it kind of screws me up, but that's okay. We'll just record a few seconds just for. And then we go back to our logseek and we give this a template. Don't I have a template? Project template, Touch Designer project. Snippet. Let's go back to, no, we need to go to Windows, Documents, Assets, Touch Designer. Copy this. It's going to be horizontal. It's going to be vertical. I want it to be horizontal. Is this a problem? How should I deal with that? Just exchange, rotate it here, make it a transform, rotate it by 90. Make this 1280 by 225. Translate this by 0.464, negative 0.464. Rectangle. Where's my rectangle? Center, reset, size 0.02 by 1, center, negative something or other, The rest should follow. No? Oh yeah, we just need our transform, feedback transform to be -1 or 1 and 0. It's awfully bright. Why is it so bright? Probably need a level on the feedback loop. Comp. Over. Ah, over. Okay. Over, not add. Okay, this composite here should be over. Let's reset. Oh yeah, there we go. Then we can play with the speed via the transform. Make this 2 pixels. (1.5). Or just 1. Could make it a bit thinner maybe. Anyway, lots of stuff we could play with. Don't need to play with all that now. Let's record this again. Unique suffix on, GIF, record. There we go, snippet. Control C, Control V. Nodes. Typically we take a picture of the node network. Let's close this one. Close the parameters. Compress things a little bit. So reset these to be the same kind of size. Just a bit nicer. There's my node network. So now this thing shows up in my Touch Designer workflow. Visual table. There's my new project here. This is fun. I really like using logseq with this queries. So, hey logseq community, here's how I manage like visual creations. Cool. Folks, thanks for tuning in. What time is it? My goodness, it's been a fun one. It's 10:27. Time to take our stretch. Time to take our stretch, and take our bow. Yeah, this is a wisdom from Alessandra White and the Creative Work Hour, and those folks are working right now. It's 10 a.m. at 10 a.m. Eastern. Check out Luma, lu.ma/creative work. It's a beautiful and magical community of creative people. And aren't we all creative people? All people are creative if given the time and the space and the abilities and the tools and the encouragement to be so in whatever domain of life that you want to be creative in and which speaks to you. And audio visuals, yeah, speaks to me, and 3D and all that stuff, and I love to do that. So anyway, a bit of a rant, not a rant, but just a welcome to join the community of Creative Work Hour. We meet at 10 a.m. Eastern Time every single day, and we do a sort of a virtual co-working space. Introduce, quick around the table, around the horn on what you're up to, and then someone will lead us through a lovely meditation to get us centered, get us present, get us ready to flow. And then there's a DJ who manages the flow music and the good music, good beats to keep you in the flow. And then ding, 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 time's up at 10:55. Put down your tools, wipe down your space, take your stretch, share with the others how you did, and then get on with the day. Or come back for a second hour. Usually there's a second bonus hour for more flow. So check out lu.ma/creative work. And thanks to Alessandra White for hosting this amazing community that's made a big difference in my life. How I built up this whole thing into this streaming. It used to be just I do a little sketch and post it on Twitter. That's where I started. Little tiny little things growing now into this whole sort of suite of productions and visual effects and all this stuff. So thanks for tuning in, folks. Be well. Have a lovely day. See you tomorrow, 8:12 a.m. There's my launch, the commitment for 8:12 a.m. tomorrow, youtube.com/@Johnson